I thought there was an interesting point that she made, and I do want to get onto that. But what's interesting is you literally woke up Siri when you said that on my phone. Like Siri popped up when you said Sui. Siri popped up.
That means I sound like you, which is what people always say.
Do they?
Well, people always say, "Oh, you and your brother sound the same."
I've heard them say we look the same. I've never heard them say we sound the same. I think both are ridiculous, frankly. But
Homeseeking is a sprawling love story that spans decades and is rife with family drama and moral dilemmas. At its core, the novel follows intertwined lives of compelling characters such as Sui, Howard, and Sui's parents. The father in particular leaves a strong impression. The narrative is anchored by Haiwen, who makes the ultimate sacrifice. And reading this book, honestly, this isn't the type of book that I can criticize the plot. It wasn't really a plot, it was a journey. It was almost like an immersive experience. If you like a slow burner where you get to know the characters and follow their lives, then you'll enjoy this book. And I definitely think the author's talented. She's good at breathing life into characters. Sui's parents, notably, even with their limited screen time, we really got to know them and they felt real. Her father was obviously the bookstore owner, and her mother was just the stubborn woman that she healed to the father. Like when the father said, "Listen, I think she beat the daughters one time just for spending time with Haiwen," and the father came home and was just like, "Yeah, that boy is alright. I like that boy." So yeah, what did you think of the book, though?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think it was more of a memoir than it was a storybook. So, just stuff that happened.
Pause this video right now. Go and read Homeseeking by
Karissa Chen. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you could join us anyway because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the iShop Library.
So yes, a memoir. That's, it's not...
I think
what
is
a memoir?
This. I think that's probably the most fitting word. This is a trick that I do when I don't have an answer. But yeah, no.
The dictionary definition.
I understand what memoir is based on context. I couldn't define it for you, but I think this is probably the most fitting word for it.
And also, remember this actually come under the category historical fiction. So I have to give it a point because I've learned some things.
I definitely learned some things.
China.
So that's one of my China, Japan. This is one of my.
And
notes
even the way of life in that time, in the time of war and whatnot, it could have been. The author could have gone the way where most people would have gone. Most authors would have gone, which is the dirty side of war. And she actually, if it's a she, stayed away from that and tried to keep the story very, very normal, which is.
I think that's commendable.
Well, it's commendable. I don't know if it's the right choice, but it's commendable if you're trying to write that type of literature. Because it's easy to go and see the massacres and this, that, and the other. It's easy to do that. I would have appreciated if she did do that.
Yeah, of course.
But I could also appreciate this side as well.
I suppose so. You're being very generous today. You in a good mood?
Got some this morning.
Got some nookie.
Well, I'll talk about breakfast, but
so was I.
I ain't had any.
So was I.
I ain't had any of that in years, mate.
The first thing I have to say about this book is that it's long. 17 bastard hours. There is no excuse for a book that's not called the Bible to be that long. This book also features different locations: Shanghai, Los Angeles, Hong Kong, Taiwan, which is a good thing, as you always say, Elijah, because books shouldn't be set in one location. Globetrotting. But, we're talking about, a love story that spans 6 decades. It was a very, very, very long book. And, it was not primarily action. It was stuff.
Yeah, it was just stuff.
It was just stuff, so it was very dense.
I was worried when the author came on initially. Did you listen to it?
No, I listened to the beginning bit.
Do you use my account?
Huh?
Do you use my account to listen to the movie?
No, I listened to it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. So I was worried when the author came on initially to try to explain to us how to read this book and how to understand this book. I said, this is going to be a complicated one.
Exactly.
With the time skips and this, that, and the other. But I didn't find it difficult to...
I did.
I didn't find it difficult. I kind of knew what was going on.
Mate.
Because they kept Haiwen in the present day and they kept Sui in the
past.
Yeah, in the past.
And he was going backwards, she was going forwards. But what's interesting is that this is why I try and always read the PDFs. You pronounce her name a certain way. I've been saying Suchi because that's how it was written.
This is what I was just going to say. Yeah. Well, I was just going to say this. When the author said, their names changed and per region. So in Taiwan,
Yeah.
their names is different, just like
Yeah.
You know,
I thought there was an
they-
interesting point that she made, and I did want to get onto that. But what's interesting is you literally woke up Siri when you said that on my phone. Like Siri popped up when you said Sui. You know, Siri popped up.
That means
on
I
my
sound like you, which is what people always say.
Do they?
Well, people always say, "Oh, you and your brother sound the same." Even
I've
though I
heard
don't
that.
think we do.
I've heard them say we look the same. I've never heard them say
No,
we sound
they
the
say
same.
we-
I think both are ridiculous, frankly. But
Both are an insult.
yeah,
You know?
exactly. I am the insulted party.
You're clearly not. Yeah, when they say it, you're like, "Whoa, really?" I look like it. But yes, that's what I was going to say. That's something that we, as British people, I don't know, Western people, don't really
we have.
experience.
It's not enough frame of reference.
So they literally change their name wherever they go. They say, "Oh, Howard's my British name. Oh, Haiwen's my Chinese name. Oh,
Yeah.
they call me Little Dodo or whatever,
100%,
Dodo, whatever it was."
yeah, no.
We don't. I'm just Elijah. I'm always Elijah.
Exactly, and it's interesting because this happened to me at work. I was serving customers on the till. We get a lot of tourists because I work at a landmark in the morning, so we get a lot of tourists, right? Mainly French, but a lot of Italians as well. This Italian guy came up to me, and when I ask customers for their names, I can put their name on their order. I asked them for their name, and straight away they always look at my name tag. Straight away they'll look at my name tag because like someone's asking you for your name, like, yeah, well, what's your name? You know, so we introduce. Like this is what
I
people
don't know
do.
if I would
They
do
look
that.
at my name tag, and he said Joseph. He said, you know, in Italiano it's Giuseppe, and I was like, I didn't fucking ask. Like, do you know what I mean? You take your cross on and fuck off. I didn't ask you. But it's just interesting because I was just like, wow, I have a different name.
Yeah.
You know, in Spain it's Jose, Portugal I'm Jose. It's just really interesting that you'll have different names wherever you go. And British people, we don't give a shit.
In
Because
Arab
we don't
land,
leave
it's
Brit-
Yusuf.
There you go. Do you see what I'm saying? So it is interesting. But these have to navigate this on a daily basis. So it's very tricky for them, isn't it? The Easterners.
So they get for being foreign.
Should have been English, like me. Rule
English,
Britannia.
are you? Better go
Rule
back to where
Britannia.
you came from.
No.
English.
Yeah, Tommy Robinson is in the chat. Typing. Tommy Robinson's typing.
Actually, no, you go.
Homeseeking features the ultimate time skip. 60 bloody years! Our main characters are Suchi and Haiwen, a talented violinist who enlists in the army to save his brother from the draft. I'm not normally a fan of time skips, but this one took the biscuit. How can you skip 6 fucking decades? How are we meant to get invested into a 60-year-long story? We're nowhere near the end. 60 years?
Yeah.
That is like triple how long I've been alive.
You know what? It's a challenge. It's a challenge for the author.
That's one way to put it.
I don't know why you would write this book. Like, why would you do that? I get the historical element, but why would you say, you know what, I'm going to write a life story over that time frame?
I guess because it's not done every day.
Challenge. It's a massive
It's
challenge.
not done every day.
Sounds like a headache to me if I was an author.
It was a headache enough to read. Imagine writing it. Bloody hell.
So obviously, Haiwen makes the most unselfish decision ever, where he decides to join the army on his brother's behalf, effectively saving his brother's life. Haiwen thought, one of us has to go. I'm the useless brother. All I do is play the violin. My brother, on the other hand, runs the family business, and he has his own family and children. So Haiwen sacrificed the life he could have had with his beloved Sui.
Exactly what I would have done.
Problem is, he left on bad terms, failing to even say goodbye. If I was being super picky, the author could have made us feel that scene a bit more. But realistically, because we already know that all of this has happened and Haiwen survived the war because of the reuniting 40 years later, it did take our worry away and any suspense for Haiwen. I see what the author was trying to do. It was different, and I have to give a point because this was historical fiction and I did learn something, which is more than what I can say for some of the other historical fiction books we've read recently that you picked. So yeah, I don't understand why the author didn't let us experience some of the war from Haiwen, as I said before. You know, I mean, it doesn't make sense to discard all of that because we didn't even experience nothing.
Yeah, I know.
On Haiwen's
I guess
side.
it goes back to what you were saying. You know, she could have opted for it and she chose not to.
Yeah,
but
but
that was
you
a
would
wrong
still
decision.
expect something. When I was saying
He was
that,
there, wasn't he?
when I was saying that, I was saying it was commendable that she didn't go like right into it, like right into the murderous, brutal side of it. But you would expect them to still touch on that.
Yeah, no, I think
Even
they
if
should
it-
have. Yeah, no, okay, I think they should have because
It was like completely discarded.
there's a difference between, as you said, going into like the nitty gritty details as some books that we have read, and you know,
Even
having,
if
like,
it was a case of showing how the army was had was starving basically. Like there was no food, and they
Yeah,
still had to
yeah, yeah.
fight on empty stomachs.
Or
And
even
no
like,
rations.
you know,
and
you
this,
didn't
that,
even
the
have to be in combat. You know, not everyone in the army is in a combat role, so
Yeah.
it's like it's not even a case of, you know, here we're gonna. Well, realistically, it doesn't make sense. Let me conscript a baker or whatever, or this violinist, give him a gun and send him at the enemy.
Yeah.
Like you want trained hard guys, you know, going
Yeah.
at the enemy.
So the opposite of you.
Well, listen, if I get conscripted to the army, I'll be a chef, no problem, guys.
You
Like,
can't bloody cook.
listen, if you
Chefs
want
aren't
good,
supposed to eat the
if
food.
you, if you want good food, don't join the army. You eat ration packs. You know what you're eating.
I'm a lorry driver, so
Rat
I know
shit.
what I'd be doing.
Driving the military vehicles. That's
I'd
the
be
worst
driving
place
from
to
the
be.
factory,
Yeah.
which is not a good place to be.
Yeah, the factory's supposed to get bombed.
Factory to the docks, and then I'll be home for dinner.
And the docks are the second place to get bombed. You drive from the first bomb to the second one. Jesus. I'm going to do it. I'm going to use the B word. Bored! I'm bored. Books can be many B words. They can be brilliant or bloody or belligerently, bewilderingly backward, but they should never, ever be boring. There was a section in the book, I'm not sure which chapter, since none of them were numbered, which is a huge issue I had. None of them were numbered, where the character was just shopping for groceries for like 10 minutes. Yeah. I say the characters because the way their names are spelled and pronounced were totally different. Now, the author said something very profound. She says, if you are confused by the differences in how names are pronounced based upon region, think about people who have to navigate this daily. Well, I commend her for teaching me something about how easy my life is, which I think is always going to be important. Yeah. Teach me how easy my life is. And you have, it still made this book an awkward read, and you have to get points deducted for awkward reads. So even
even if it's true to life, and life is awkward.
It's true to life. But what did you write this book for? To make money, to sell, you know, to entertain people. Like, what did you write this book for? You know, it's a book. I got to rate it on like how books don't always have to be an easy read, but it should be an awkward read. I found this to be an awkward read. You know, you've got timelines running backwards. What is this, Tenet?
As if it wasn't tricky enough, and then the days.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're writing a book to be consumed. That's above all. If it's illegible, which it wasn't.
Yeah, you could be like, what did I write in you know, nonsense, hieroglyphics, you know? Be like, oh, but if you understand your... Shut up, bro. Shut up. You know no one speaks hieroglyph. No one speaks that.
Yeah,
man.
you could... Yeah, I mean, if we're being more realistic, she could have written it in Chinese or Japanese and say to be more authentic.
Oh, there you go. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. That would have probably been easier on the Chinese people.
You know, should have done the Bible way, you know.
What, with language, super thin?
One language on this side, the other language on this side.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. That would have triggered me, though.
Many chapters later, another controversial decision by none other than Hywin's younger sister. It was brought to our attention that she had been ostracized by her family because of a decision she made to throw her imprisoned father under the bus. The police put pressure on her to testify that her father was guilty for being against the Communist Party. And she did. This ultimately resulted in her father being beaten to death in police custody. In her defense, she just had a newborn baby who was quite sick, and she said if the police imprisoned her too, which is what they were threatening to do, there was nobody to look after the baby and her daughter would surely die. Did she do the right thing, Joseph? To choose a brand new born baby over her father who's been batting for her whole life? Was it the right thing to do?
Yes.
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 It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But if we believe that it's the right thing to do, are we not just falling back on our programming, which serves only the microorganisms, you know, that drive us to pass on our genes by any means necessary?
Do you talk like this at work? Do you have many friends? Bro, that's an incredibly difficult question to answer, you know. You must realise, me, a bartender, I don't have the answers. Some of the questions I don't have the answers, you know. You must understand.
I was showing Michael a question of the day between me and you. I think the one we done quite recently, where you refused to answer the question.
Listen,
you refused, and you started getting annoyed.
I'll find a way out.
You started getting annoyed because I was caging you.
Yeah, I'll find a way out.
I was like, well, that's not the question. You said, well, it is.
No, that's you. You're just annoying.
I've never heard that one before because I don't listen. La, 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 la.
No, it does get like that. But I'm trying to be as realistic as possible when I answer some of these questions. I know,
So was that an unrealistic question?
No, it was in the bloody book, wasn't it?
No,
so,
the microorganisms.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I don't think it's unrealistic for us. This is the kind of thing we talk about.
In our frame of reference.
It's just what do you expect me to do about this? What do you want me to do? Like, this is beyond my beyond my pay grade by a long way as well.
So she did the right thing. End of. Snake the father.
In my opinion, yes, and the father should sign off on that as well.
Really?
Yeah,
you can have another baby. You can't have another father.
Of course not, but
just a newborn.
Yes, newborn though.
Yes, just a newborn. They don't even. A lot of the times they don't make it anyway.
The function is to protect the newborn. The human function is to protect the newborn.
Function, but who programmed that function?
Well,
should we be following that blindly?
Are we? Well, there's another function that says we protect blood. Should we follow that blindly? Well, I mean, it's not really blind, but
there's at least some form of correlating reason for that. Being that father was there for you, he looked after you, he's done things for you,
and he will continue in death.
So
what do you think the right thing was to do? What, snake the baby?
How dare you turn my own questions on me?
Master, you dare use my own spells against me, Potter?
Oh god!
Never done that before. I might do it more often. I found a weapon. I found a means of counterattack.
It's only taken you one bloody year.
Do you know what I mean? Like, surprised I didn't think of it. Sometimes the best idea is right.
Realistically, she would have had to snake the dad. I mean, the dad was guilty of something.
Yeah.
He landed himself in that position. It is what it is. If that was my daughter, she chose her child over me, then it is what it is. I'll take my death standing. Yeah, take it with her. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Can't sacrifice the baby for her to be put in prison and you both dead. All three of you dead. What's the point?
Yeah, that's catastrophic failure. You can say a lot of things about this book, but one thing you cannot say is that it doesn't teach one anything. For example, our main characters met in the 1930s in Japan-occupied Shanghai. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Empire of Japan attacked and occupied the Chinese city of Shanghai on August 13th, 1937. The battle lasted 2 whole months and claimed more than 250,000 casualties. Historians claim that the Battle of Shanghai is the largest and longest of the war, and some claim it is the first battle of the war. So it's interesting, I've never heard this before. The World War II potentially started in the East. Between the Empire of Japan and China, when they attacked Shanghai. It lasted 2 months. 2 months. 2 whole months.
No, but
fighting over one city.
That's a lot of lives to lose.
100%.
That such a short space of time. So the Ukraine and Russia war that's been going on for about 2 and a bit years now, they've apparently lost. I think it's over 1 million. I think it's about 600,000-700,000 on each side.
Oh, okay.
So that's about $1.5 million or whatnot
for 2 years. And it's
for 2 years,
2 months, a quarter million.
Do you see what I'm saying? So 100%. That's a lot of lives they've lost.
Shelling. Yeah. So listen, it taught me something. And I thought I found that to be interesting.
No, definitely.
I had no idea. Listen, the more
I think by law, all books should teach you something.
100%.
I mean, even if it's just fiction or whatnot, it should.
The more we read, the more we're finding out about how much Japan actually has been up to.
Japan's.
In terms of, like, I'm telling you.
Well, this is the thing, right? People's. Let's just say, all humans are evil. We go on like white people are evil, whatnot, but them Asians,
who really invented slavery?
The Asians, I'm telling you, the Asians, they do a whole lot of massacres.
Yeah, of course.
When I say a lot of massacres, they will desecrate the other one.
Bro, Genghis Khan. What are we talking about? The Mongol horde.
And then you got, even in Africa, there's a lot of people, I was reading about it. I can't remember where it is. Was it Congo? They would massacre each other.
Boko Haram and that.
They do
crazy.
Humans are crazy.
Bro, I'm telling you, white people did not invent slavery. And we know this because white people didn't invent anything.
They just stole it.
It's like the blacks and the Africans who were doing slavery thousands of years before the Great Atlantic Slave Trade, etc. So, like you said, the focal point, obviously, in modern history, let's call it, has always obviously been on the whites. But, you expand that lens.
Yeah.
I
said something that was definitely sounded funny. Because if I say, the Africans, they kill each other, they all look the same. It looks like your brother or whatnot. And I was going to say the same for the Asians. But then if I say it for the Asians, it sounds
racist.
Yeah, it's racist.
Yeah, that sounds racist. Do you think you get let off Because
if you say
Africans are black and you're black, which is racist as well because you're not African. Do you see what I'm saying?
Why aren't I
So
African?
like, no, but are you African?
I don't know.
Where's your passport? Show me your African passport.
Does
right
your
now.
passport tell you where you're from? Does your passport tell you where you're from?
Well, I didn't say it did. I said, are you African?
No,
yes
but you
or
said
no.
show me your passport.
Yes, show me your passport.
Yeah, but what are you talking about? Why do you
Show me your passport that shows me you're African.
The rape scene. I mean, it was a weird scene where Sui refused to say no to the man pursuing her. Sui worked at a strip club as a waitress. She didn't do the naughty with customers. She just served their drinks while they were doing the naughties. Anyway, the wealthy customer decided to take an interest in Sui and actually paid her boss to have some time with Sui, just to talk. No funny business. This went on for months. Even the other girls warned her that men only want one thing. Sui thought to herself, this guy must be different. He took her out to eat, used his links to get her singing gigs, which was her dream, all the while asking for nothing in return. And Sui didn't find it suspicious. One day, he asked for a hand in marriage. And she said, I'm too old. Surely you want a young, pretty thing? He said, I want you. She said, I'm old. You must want a son. I might not be able to give you one. He said, there are lots of new medicines. I want to make it clear that she was trying to make all the excuses under the sun not to marry this guy. She said, don't you want somebody young and pure? He said angrily, are you not pure? She reactively said, I am. I've been faithful to you. Sui said to herself, why the fuck did I say that word? We're not even together. Why did I say the word faithful? But that was the green light he needed, and he took off her clothes there and then and sealed the deal. Sui herself classes that as rape. I don't know. It sounds like a topic to debate. Well, it does if you want to get cancelled. Yeah, it sounds like a topic to debate if you want to get cancelled.
Yeah, no,
So,
100%.
But I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why do we, especially a lot of times in books, when authors are depicting a rape scene, it's like they refuse to allow the woman to say, no, get off me. No. Like, they want it to be up for debate.
Yeah, and then obviously not have the debate.
Yeah,
after
you're not
you
allowed
put it
to have
up
the
for
debate. You're not allowed to have the debate. Yeah, of course not.
It's like you put it out for debate and then check to make sure no one's debating. Like,
You're teasing us.
yeah, 100%. And it's not spoken, so it's very difficult to have a debate about it because it's not said, it's just understood. But yeah, it is definitely something. We're already going to get cancelled, aren't we? Already, just this. Just this.
We didn't even tease the debate.
We haven't said anything. But, you know, unless you cook the rapist, like, unequivocally, and focus 100% of your
She didn't even cook the rapist.
aggressive
She fucking married
manpower.
him.
Yeah, of
and
course.
bore children from him.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And stayed with him.
Legit. And he abused her the whole time.
The whole way. Even her son said, why didn't you leave dad?
Oh, God. Sorry, yeah. Well, now that I've laughed, we're definitely getting cancelled.
You
But
are. There's still time for me.
he said, we? I don't speak French.
Sui. Oh, that's it.
The amount of times you activated my Siri while you was talking, I was just looking at it and laughing. But,
Well, that means maybe we actually, as a fact, sound similar. Hey, Siri.
oh, wow, we must do.
Oh, yeah, mine came up as well.
Yeah, but it happens when my dad does it as well. When my dad does it,
To yours.
every time he says, hey, Siri, when he's trying to start a timer, it opens on my phone.
Say it.
Hey, Siri.
Maybe we do sound the same.
Wow. We've got evidence right there, people. I've never thought we sound or look similar whatsoever,
think
but
Siri's
Siri's
wrong.
work on our phone. Do you know what I mean? But Siri has no
go on,
agenda.
say,
Siri's not biased, has no agenda. It's
That's
like
what
the
you
most
think.
impartial.
Siri programmed by somebody who's definitely
Fair
biased.
enough.
But yeah, go on. Say you got one more.
One more. Ladies, you may think your boyfriend is controlling, but I bet he's never changed your name before. Forced to marry due to financial hardship, Suchi's husband is a wealthy and abusive man that she meets while working at a nightclub. Her husband goes so far as to change her name from Suchi to Suke to better reflect the Cantonese pronunciation. In the West, you are controlling an abusive man if you tell your girl not to go to the club by herself or if you tell her not to leave the house half naked. We have no earthly clue. In the East, they're changing their wives' names. They're like, you're not called this anymore. You're called this, you know?
And it's funny because people will say that he was nice in the beginning. He wasn't abusive. He changed. He didn't change. You just didn't see him for who he was. Remember,
Of course.
She didn't want to talk to him. She didn't want to spend time with him, and he paid her boss to force her to have a conversation with him. So you know, we saw these things from the get-go.
But those kinds of things make women feel desired and and valuable in the beginning.
You was desired, all right.
Yeah, that's one thing you could always say yours.
And that's another thing. You
and
notice,
obtained.
you notice that even in this time of hardship, Sui, who had no skills, was completely. I mean, her father would tell her that she's stupid. Her sisters would tell her that they're gullible and naive, and she still made it to the top in the time. But she just stumbled into a rich guy who wanted to marry her.
Do you understand what I'm telling you? When I see these young-ish girls begging on the street, I'm like, this got to be a scam. There's no way. Like, you can genuinely win the lottery every single day of your life as a woman. Every single day of your life, you can win the lottery.
If you want.
Do you know what I mean? If you want to,
All
you
have to do
can
is
win the
don't
lottery.
fuck up.
There is no, I cannot win the lottery every single day of my life. It's impossible. It's not actually possible. So, you know, she had no skills, like you said, had no intelligence, had nothing whatsoever going for her in any way, shape or form. And yet, you know, she won the lottery. It's interesting.
So yeah, I definitely don't recommend you read this book. Don't go and read this book. Not unless you like that sort of thing.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. I mean, I've never read any memoirs ever, so
I
clearly it
don't.
wasn't
I
for me.
don't. I don't think it was a bad book, but it wasn't for me. I think that's the best way.
Yeah, I've never read any memoirs, so clearly it wasn't for me going in, to be honest. But as you said, it was trending. Funny enough, I thought it was going to be good. You know, I don't know what it was about it. I saw the
didn't think
cover.
it was gonna be good.
I saw the cover on YouTube because I listened to clips on. You can find all kinds of clips. You can't find whole books on YouTube, but you can find like good portions of them. Something about the cover. It looked like it was going to be good to me. But,
well, don't listen to the book.
Yeah, I know,
cover.
right?
And that's the quote of the day. That was like the most popular quote of all time.
I know, right? Yeah, you can't. I can't.
Do you have a
think of-
quote?
I do have a quote.
Okay.
Quote of the day: standards high, focus sharp, moves silent, prayers loud.
Say it again.
Standards high.
Yeah.
Focus sharp, moves silent, prayers loud.
Why prayers loud?
Because.
So you can hear him.
Yeah,
the,
cool.
The big guy can hear them.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The big guy upstairs.
Oh, on that note, it's time to end.
Till next time.
Freedom.
Oh, no, Elijah, the favourites was really good though.